sits down with NBC News to talk about the meeting and James Comey. Here with reaction, Philippe Ryan is former senior advisor to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Good morning, Philippe.
Good morning, Ed.
What's your recollection? I want to hear the Clinton side of this. What happened at that meeting in Arizona on the tarmac?
Loretta Lynch has actually already discussed this when it happened, within days. I mean, it sounds crazy. You and I travel, and everyone watching travels, and you think, who walks around, runways without those big orange cones doing that? But when you're the former president of the United States or the attorney general or the governor of California, which he also bumped into, it's basically bumping into people in the supermarket, as crazy as that sounds. And she was flying on a U.S. government jet that had the very distinctive blue and white United States of America emblazoned on it. And he said, who is it? And I know it sounds ridiculous, but he's Bill Clinton. And he said, let's go see who it is. And
that's a pretty good impersonation.
I mean, believe me, there's no one who would more not have done that than the people in the Clinton campaign. But there's no one who knows better that all he did was like, hey, you got any food in here?
Well, okay, but you're right. I mean, on one hand, it does sound strange. It's like, oh, gosh, we all travel all the time and we bump into famous people. On the other hand, Bill Clinton's wife at the time was under FBI investigation on the email server, fair or unfair, and the Attorney General oversees the FBI. So shouldn't a former president have been a bit more careful about going, because it wasn't a 5-minute meet and greet, as I recall, it was a half hour, 40 minutes.
I don't remember how it was more than a few minutes. I think it was somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes. But yeah, look, I think everyone in hindsight wish it hadn't happened, starting with Loretta Lynch, starting with Bill Clinton. And the notion of what this has turned into about what was discussed, what happened there, the people who suffered most for that encounter were Secretary Clinton and, by extension, the Clinton family and the Clinton, because what happened from there was it looked tainted. The first thing that was said by Loretta Lynch was it was unfortunate, and I am going to, in an abundance of caution, I'm going to make sure that whatever Jim Comey and the career professionals bring to me as a recommendation, I'm going to accept it.
As you say, tainted. This is what James Comey said it would happen. Watch.
I'm not picking on the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, who I like very much, but her meeting with President Clinton on that airplane was the capper for me. And I then said, you know what? The department cannot, by itself, credibly end this.
So if she's already addressed this, and they were talking about grandkids and their golf games, Philippe, bottom line question, why does she have to come out now? Is it because James Comey's about to come out on the book tour and everybody wants to get their story straight?
I wouldn't say story straight, but yeah, clearly it's because of the book. He's got a book coming out, I guess, in a week. There's going to be a lot of finger pointing, and I think people want to make it clear. I would take what she's saying and her wanting to say as reinforcement that there's no there because she wants to say straight out, it was absurd, but this is what happened. And look, I hope she comes on Fox and says the same thing.
Well, and finally, I want to go back to my first question.
I hope she comes on Fox and doesn't attack you for your athletic prowess.
That would be nice, but I got 10 seconds. That's funny. Which is, what did they talk about? I want to get it on the record from the Clinton side. Did they just talk about grandkids, or did they talk about
I think it was chit-chat. I think it was chit-chat, and I know from them that there was food set out, and they did a little grazing of the, cheese tray. No, he worked, he hired her 20 years earlier.
Okay, so it was a buffet. It wasn't about the investigation. To be continued. Philippe, thank you.
Thank you.